Arun Jaitley is joining us now from Banaras, where he is there, of course, last few days, and Mr. Modi is expected to be there again as well. Arun Jaitley, since I am at Faizabad at the Guptar Ghat, which is, of course, associated with Lord Ram, I must ask you to first comment on the fact that your candidate here in Faizabad has got a notice from the Election Commission because of the visual depictions of Lord Ram and the proposed Ram Mandir on the stage even while Mr. Modi was speaking. Now, you have described this as an error of judgment, but many other leaders of your party have continued to say that there's nothing wrong with this, that after all, har dil mein Ram hai. This is what one of the spokespeople said. They even joked that Sitaram Yechury has the word Ram in his name, so are you going to stop that? But the fact of the matter is that the EC has issued a notice and the Congress is saying this is an example of Mr. Modi using the religion card when it suits him. He hasn't spoken about Lord Ram anywhere in the country, but here in Faizabad, where Ayodhya is, he spoke about it. What do you think, sir?
Well, let me first of all tell you, it is customary for Mr. Modi, whenever he goes to a particular place, you refer to the historical legacy of that place. So if you are in Jammu and Kashmir, you'll refer to the situation there. If you are in Amritsar, you'll refer to the fact that the Golden Temple is there. If you are in Ayodhya, obviously a reference will come to Ayodhya in the context of the birthplace of Ram. Now, it's not a secret that the BJP openly supports the idea of construction of the Ram temple in Ayodhya, an issue which is now squarely before the Supreme Court. Now, this has been a part of the BJP's program and the BJP's ideological conviction. Having said this, I am one of those who believe that legally speaking, Mr. Modi has not made any appeal in the name of religion anywhere in this country. So what can be defined within the parameters of law, appeal in the name of religion? Others have done it. You had a Samajwadi Party leader saying that you won't be a good Muslim if you don't vote for the Samajwadi Party, and many other people have said it. Our campaign has focused primarily on issues of governance. Now, the local organizers of the rally, and frankly, when we visit rallies, we don't check up what the background on the stage is. So we have not checked it up. Now, the local organizers felt that there is nothing wrong in it, having a legacy of Lord Ram, particularly when there is, in the context of Ayodhya. But we've advised all our units in various places, try and avoid this because we don't want to deflect from our principal issue, which is the issue of governance. Now, if our candidate has got a notice, he'll certainly reply to this. And the party's position is that we haven't done it anywhere else in the country. The local unit did it. The local unit will now reply to the Election Commission or whoever is the authority which has issued a notice to them.
Would you rather have had the local unit not do this?
No. The central party has concentrated only on issues of governance, and therefore, even though you've done it, legally it is sustainable. But at the same time, if the local unit has done it, I think the local party would be justifying it or explaining the stand. But as far as the BJP is concerned, throughout the campaign, we've kept away from the issue, even though we firmly believe that construction of Ram Temple in Ayodhya must take place.
So you believe that this visual depiction on the stage was avoidable? Was it avoidable?
No, it could have been avoided, and therefore I have said so. I have said so earlier in an interview to some of the other channels that this could have been avoided because this whole controversy would not have arisen. Our campaign this time is focusing on issues of governance and allow it to be focused on issues of governance. But in the context of Ayodhya, supposing the meeting was in Haridwar and somebody had shown the Ganga in the background. It's in that context that this has been done, and therefore I don't think it changes the basic theme of the campaign. The thrust of Mr. Modi's speech, and he's addressed more than 450 speeches, have been issues of governance.
Okay, you say the thrust is on governance, yet we find today, and even in his speech in Amethi, which Mr. Jaitley, I reported myself, he referred to his background as being a member of a lower caste. Now, when Priyanka Gandhi Vadra attacked him for Neech Rajniti, we can debate whether she was legitimate in saying that my martyred father's memory has been insulted or not. There can be a debate on that. But be honest, do you really think she was attacking Mr. Modi for his caste, for being representing a so-called lower caste? Don't you think she was talking about a low level of political discourse?
Well, I am afraid, Barkha, I must say this. My friends in the media are a bit too liberal and a bit too lax in dealing with the Gandhis. The Gandhis can do no wrong. This is the faith of the Congress party. Let this not be a faith of the Indian media. Supposing I had used this phrase with regard to a BSP leader, what would your stand have been? I would have been slaughtered on the Indian media if I had used this phrase. The fact that a Gandhi uses it phrase, I don't see it is in the right spirit, that the media starts covering up, oh, she referred to the politics of Mr. Modi and not to the caste of Mr. Modi. Now, here you are well aware of the fact that Mr. Modi normally doesn't make his caste into an issue. You use a phrase which is highly objectionable. A campaigner makes a slight slip in a campaign and the whole media goes after him hammer and tong. But here is the case, everybody is trying to say, so what if she called Modi a niche politics or a niche Rajniti? He is not referring to his caste, she is referring it to the person or the politics itself. I think we are being a little too liberal in dealing with the Gandhis.
But what do you expect from her? You've demanded an apology today. And you say Mr. Modi rarely refers to his caste, but yet even before she made this comment in his speech, there was a reference to how the Congress had treated Sitaram Kesri, and in a way they resent me because I too come from these humble origins and from a lower caste.
Yes, he has referred in the initial stages to his humble origins when Manishankar Ayar had the audacity of saying that we will offer him a job of a tea vendor in the AICC conference. So since that the Congress made it an issue, Mr. Modi did make his humble origin into an issue. I had tweeted that very day that the real strength of Indian democracy will be realized when a humble tea vendor defeats a powerful dynasty. And that became the basis of a campaign. It's within the legitimate parameters. Please treat Priyanka Gandhi's comment on niche Rajniti the same way that you would have used this comment if somebody else had used this phrase against any other member of the backward community.
So you are saying that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra used her words carelessly, or was she being casteist? What is your allegation?
Well, I don't know, but I have to see the net and inevitable consequence of the phrase that she has used. Now, she is an occasional politician. So somebody may try and give her the benefit of doubt that she is not a regular politician but an occasional politician, and therefore she didn't measure her words properly. That may be a charitable explanation. The other explanation would be that she wanted to talk down on him. She, of course, has been talking down on him, as many other Congress people have been talking down on Mr. Modi. And I think in this case, she made a fundamental mistake.
Okay, let's move to something that your party has actually...
Please, Barkha, she can make an issue out of the fact that my Shaheed father has been criticized. Well, an incident from history is referred to. Supposing somebody were to refer today, didn't the late Mr. Rajiv Gandhi go to Ayodhya and begin his 1989 campaign promising a Ram Rajya? Supposing we were to refer to it, how do you make an emotional plea and say my father has been insulted in this whole process? You are entitled to turn and twist statements, and then you accuse people and it's a very strong statement. And the word she used is harkat. This is not the grammar or idiom of Indian politics.
Okay, let me ask you in the end, something that is causing a great concern even across the border in Bangladesh and Sheikh Hasina's government is Mr. Modi's comments on illegal migrants from Bangladesh. Now, your party says you're talking about illegal migrants, but in the same speech, Mr. Modi talks about those who celebrate Durga Ashtami. Now, Mr. Jaitley, the fact of the matter is he seems to be suggesting that Hindus from Bangladesh are welcome, Muslims coming in from Bangladesh are not welcome. Mamata Banerjee turns around and says this isn't just about Bangladesh, this is about the Muslims. This is about the Muslims of the region. The fact of the matter is 11 children have died, more than 30 people have died. Aren't these comments worrying?
No, the comments are not worrying, the comments are logical. For the simple reason, how much population of Hindus did Pakistan have in 1947 and Bangladesh, East Pakistan have in 1947? Pakistan today has only 2% left. Bangladesh today has only 10% left. Because of persecution, you are being pushed out. Now, if you have people of who are originally a part of the Indian origin, it could be the Sikhs in Kenya, it could be people anywhere else in the world, who are being pushed out of their states. Obviously, this has to become a homeland.
Muslims?
Could it be Taslima Nasreen also?
Would the BJP be willing to take in Muslims?
No, please. It could be even Taslima Nasreen. She's a refugee. She's not an infiltrator. Therefore, there is a fundamental difference which is globally recognized between refugees and infiltrators. A refugee is a person who, on account of religious or political beliefs, is unable to live in that society and is being pushed out. Obviously, there is an international settled convention where you'll have to give refuge to these people. An infiltrator is an economic migrant who, without any documentation or paper, for reasons of his economy and better prospects, crosses over illegally into another territory. No territory in the world permits it. It's a pressure on land, it's a pressure on economic resources. And why Mr. Modi? The Supreme Court in at least 2 judgments said this is a silent invasion of India, and therefore the rules framed under the IMDT Act are unconstitutional. These people have to be detected and deported back. This is in a different phraseology. Mr. Modi has said the same thing. So, and Mamata Banerjee wants to convert that into a vote bank. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, but my question, no, my last question is just this, that do you not think that just the same way you say Priyanka Gandhi Vadra needs to be more careful with the words, Mr. Modi also has to keep in mind the fact that the Muslims of this country are in a wary mood at the moment, that for somebody who has said in an earlier interview, I'm a Hindu nationalist, when he makes these comments, when an Amit Shah says Azamgarh is become, a place that only sends terrorists out to the rest of the country,
be very clear.
These comments could be misconstrued. Yes.
Well, nobody should be in a wary mood. This is an election which has been almost 99 out of 100 on issues of governance. There could have been a 1% aberration. Everybody has to be careful as far as language is concerned. Why A or B or C? But the fact of the matter is, a logical and a legitimate distinction between refugee and infiltrator is sought to be completely obliterated in India. And that's the purpose of my blog. I wanted to bring that out. It's a world-recognized exception.
All right. Arun Jaitley, the debate will continue. We're just in the slog overs, as they say. And it really, I think people of India would want nothing better than a campaign that is run on development. But the debate continues around elements of polarization in this campaign. Thank you so much for joining us from Varanasi tonight.